What is up, guys? It is RSC6414 here, back with another video. This time I'm reviewing TNA Impact Wrestling, ended about 45 minutes ago. Overall, I gotta say, the show was decent. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It was actually a little bit better than decent, but we'll go ahead and get to the review. The only complaint I really had about this was the matches were too short, in my opinion. Some of them, at least, and then there were too many promos and segments. So let's go ahead and get to the review. The first thing we had was Dixie Carter. Oh god, Ethan Carter III, Rockstar Spud, and Magnus come out. They're basically talking about Magnus as champion and how he's kind of like Magnus basically insulted his own country's fans as a heel. MVP comes out with Samoa Joe. MVP announces Samoa Joe's going to be facing Magnus for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at Lockdown. Then Gunner comes out. He calls out Magnus. He says, "Next week I'm cashing in this briefcase." I'm like, in my opinion, I'm like, why don't you just cash it in when he's caught off guard? Don't tell somebody when you're cashing in. That's why John Cena lost to CM Punk when he cashed in, and he told him he was going to cash it in at Raw 1000. Sure enough, he loses. So I thought that was dumb, but they say next week Gunner's going to cash in. Dixie says no. She says, "No, Gunner, you can't cash in when you have a match when you don't even know who you're facing this week, and that person is my nephew, EC3, Ethan Carter III." And then then MVP said, "Let's make it interesting. Let's put the briefcases on the line since Ethan Carter III held the Feast or Fighter tag title briefcase." He said, "Why don't Gunner put the briefcases on the line in a ladder match? Winner takes both briefcases, the World Heavyweight Championship briefcase and the tag title Feast or Fighter briefcase. Whoever wins the ladder match takes those home." Dixie Carter surprisingly agrees, and we have a match between Ethan Carter III and Gunner to kick off the show in a ladder match. Winner takes both Feast or Fighter briefcases. The match is 2 minutes in, and then Magnus already comes out and interferes. James Storm comes to Gunner's aid, clears the ring of Magnus. MVP comes out and says, "Yo, you guys are basically teams, so let's make this a team. Let's do 2-on-2 tag team match. Gunner and James Storm versus Magnus and Ethan Carter III. The winner who grabs the briefcases takes both briefcases. Winner takes all." So it's like a tag team winner takes all briefcase. Whoever grabs the briefcases off the thing dangling above gets the briefcases and keeps them both. This match was back and forth. It was a ladder match still. You had Ethan Carter at one point hit a crossbody on the ladder. It was kind of tilted, set up against the ropes. That was a cool spot. It was a little too short. It ended up being Gunner hit the diving headbutt off the top rope. He climbs up the ladders. He grabs both briefcases. So Gunner is now your TNA. He holds both briefcases: the TNA World Heavyweight Championship Feast or Fire and the TNA Tag Team Championship briefcase for Feast or Fire. So he now holds both. James Storm and Gunner defeat Magnus and Ethan Carter III in a okay opening match. Nothing special, but it was good for what it was worth and the amount of time it got. The next match we had, we had backstage. The Bromance were talking about how Gunner has the tag title briefcase now. Him and Ethan Carter III had an agreement that they wanted to cash in on each other, and then Ethan Carter wanted to cash in on the Bromance. MVP announces that tonight the Wolves, the guys that he said he first signed, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, remember them from ROH, real popular indie stars now in TNA. He says that it's going to be a 3-on-3 match. The Bromance, DJ Zima, Jesse Goddard, and Robbie E will face the Wolves, and a tag partner that he announces to be Samoa Joe. 3-on-3 tag action. And this match was alright. It was really short in my opinion. The Bromance basically jobbed and they're the tag team champions. That didn't make much sense to me because you're not really giving them a credible shot or people really take them seriously with the name the Bromance in the first place. But I'm a fan of the Bromance. I do like them. They're entertaining. And I do like the Wolves as well. and you can't go wrong with Samoa Joe. This match was back and forth. The Wolves looked impressive. They hit suicide dives to the Bromance. Then Samoa Joe locks in the Coquina Clutch submission maneuver, making DJ Zima tap, and Samoa Joe and the Wolves defeat the Bromance via submission when Samoa Joe locks in the Coquina Clutch submission maneuver. So another decent match, but it should have gotten more time, in my opinion. That was kind of the story, the whole show. The whole show this week for Impact. Next thing we had was Abyss, a little segment with Abyss. Abyss. Basically, what happened here was Abyss came out to the ring, and he called out EY Eric Young to come out to the ring. He came out to the ring. Abyss basically said that, why did he take off the mask? Eric Young said, you told me you wanted to get better, so I was just trying to help. And Abyss basically, in the end, Abyss says for Eric Young to leave him alone. He's going away to fix this himself, and he's going to fix his mistake and go find someone who truly understands him. And he says, I'm going to fix this. Abyss grabs his mask, drops it in the ring, and leaves. So he leaves as Joseph Park. That was a great promo by Abyss. Really good segment. I thought this was by far the best segment of the night. Him and Abyss really did a good job here. And I thought it was really good, to be honest. We don't know really what it kind of left us thinking, wondering, is this the end of Abyss? I don't think it will be, but I think it'll be the end of Abyss for a couple months, and then he'll return eventually. Maybe we'll see him back at Lockdown, but I highly doubt it. If you forgot, Abyss is technically still the TV champion, so you never know. He seems like he defends every pay-per-view, and that's about it, but you don't know when he'll appear, so we'll see if he comes back, or this may have been the last night we see Abyss. Who knows? I hope it's not, but it'll be interesting to see. I really do hope they keep the Abyss character, because I'm not a huge fan of the Joseph Park gimmick, to be perfectly honest. But, yeah. Then the next thing we had was Christy Hemme backstage with Samuel Shaw. Samuel Shaw says he basically shakes Christy Hemme's hand. He said it about last week. I think we should keep it professional, too, and nothing more than that. And then after Shaw shakes Christy Hemme's hand, he smells his hand and fingers with this creepy psychopath serial killer gimmick. I don't understand it, to be honest, but this has got to be one of the weirdest, creepiest gimmicks I've seen. But yeah. Then we have MVP versus Rockstar Spud in singles action. MVP comes back into the wrestling ring. Actually, he's been in New Japan and stuff, but this is the first time I've seen him on TV. In a big name company in the ring. NJPW is obviously a big name company, but it doesn't come on TV here. Obviously, it's pay-per-view. But MVP versus Rockstar Spud. This all got set up when Rockstar Spud said MVP was kind of a has-been, and he can't wrestle anymore, and that's why he chose to be a businessman. MVP says a good wrestler brings their wrestling gear. And luckily, I'm one of those people. I brought my gear tonight. You want to fight one-on-one? You got it. So Rockstar Sports like, oh. But yeah, I mean, it was one-on-one singles action, back and forth. MVP did the ballin', and he hit the ball and elbow. That was pretty cool. This was basically a squash match, but he hit the ball and elbow. I mean, I was always a huge fan of MVP, so seeing him in TNA, it's still pretty cool. I would rather see him in WWE, but the real truth, though, is that MVP probably has more of a chance to succeed in TNA and become the TNA World Heavyweight Champion than he does WWE World Heavyweight Champion. MVP beats Rockstar Spud. MVP, after he hits the ball and elbow, he hits the drive-by kick on Rockstar Spud for the 1, 2, 3. MVP defeats Rockstar Spud via pinfall with the drive-by kick. A squash match there. Somebody messaged me real quick. Sorry. One of my friends actually messaged me. Basically what happened here, after that we go on to Chris Sabin versus Velvet Sky. we have a weird promo before that we have a weird vignette of Willow, Jeff Hardy's alternate alter ego gimmick from a while back, talking strangely and like just twirling an umbrella and laughs and dropped to the ground. It says Willow is coming. I don't know if it's Willow Wisp, a gimmick that he used a long time ago, and I hear that's kind of like the alter ego that they're going to use. So who knows? It's just a weird promo, but you don't know, I guess, what's going to happen. Then we've got, after that we got Chris Sabin versus Velvet Sky in a pretty good match. I mean, it actually wasn't a good match at all. It really didn't even seem like a match. It was, they faced each other. Chris Sabin challenged her last week to see who the better person was when he said that he officially dumped her. No one dumps him, but he ends the relationship kind of thing. So he challenged her. She accepted, I guess. And they went one-on-one. And this new knockout comes out of nowhere, really. Her name's Alpha, I'm pretty sure. She faced, I want to say it was one of the knockouts. He was either ODB or somebody else on Explosion a couple weeks back. And her name's Alpha. She has this kind of like Amazon gimmick, sort of like Lady Tapa. I don't know why they keep bringing those kind of people there, but hey, whatever. Basically, Alpha interferes. She kicks Velvet Sky. She comes into the ring out of nowhere. I didn't see it coming. Then she just locks in a submission maneuver, throws Velvet to the ground. Chris Sabin gets on top of Velvet. 1, 2, 3. Chris Sabin, I guess, wins the match. They never really said if it was even a match, but the ref never rang the bell, so I'm saying Chris Sabin defeated Velvet Sky. Hail Sabin! And then we've got our main event of the night, Bully Ray versus Anderson in a casket match. Before this match, Bully Ray called Anderson's family. He called Anderson's wife and said, "This will be the last time you'll see Anderson, so get ready for it." Kind of a creepy little segment there to send a message to Anderson's family. And then we go to the casket match. This was the best match of the night, in my opinion. Back and forth action. I'm a huge Bully Ray fan. I was really going for Bully Ray here. At one point, Bully Ray powerbombed Anderson through a table. Then after that, Bully Ray picked up Anderson. He was going to hit his pile driver finisher on Anderson. He was in a casket, basically. He was going to hit the pile driver. Anderson counters, hits mic check right into the coffin, or the casket. Bully Ray's laying in the casket after he gets hit with mic check. Anderson puts the lid on the casket, and Mr. Anderson beats Bully Ray in the casket match. Good match. I was hoping Bully Ray would win, but it could have gone either way, to be honest. But seeing Mr. Anderson win, it looks like they'll write Bully Ray off TV for a couple months. I figured whoever lost this match, they'll use that as a way to write that person off TV for a couple months. I think, though, once Bully Ray returns, he'll get a pretty good push and get another shot at the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, which I hope. And so, yeah, it'll probably be a while till we see Bully Ray again, but you never know, I guess. And then we've got the final thing of the night, a segment backstage. Dixie Carter basically tries to pay off MVP to tell him just to kind of leave it alone, and he'll make more money by it and getting paid that much money, and TNA will make money, and then he'll get all this money with the money he makes from investing. He says he's not here for the money. He's here to make TNA better, a better company, a better wrestling company, and help reach its full potential. He says he doesn't want her money. She storms off. She says, "You're going to regret this. This isn't over." He just kind of shakes it off, and that ends Impact. Overall, I got to say the show was, like I said, above mediocrity, but I'd give it overall grade. I'd give it 5.5 out of 10. 5.5 out of 10 is the overall grade I give this week's episode of Impact. Hope you enjoyed this review. Check out my other videos and subscribe. Thanks, guys.